Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Trading Syndicate. We are live from beautiful Liverpool. How's everybody doing? Well, here we are. What's up, Ben? Doc, everyone's doing well. Yeah, overnight inventory was very, very short. Still is short. And we'll look to see if we can stay inside Friday's range. Had we opened down here, we would have opened on a gap. But as it stands here, we're going to open inside Friday's range and pretty darn close to cost basis. So I would say if we break Friday's low and get down underneath 13 and 10, you're going to be looking for bids at 68.94. That's where everybody's short from the overnight session. All right. So Friday we had we had that issue with crypto. It continued. The sell-off continued in Bitcoin. So as soon as ES opened, any risk asset got sold. So, you get revolving margin calls. Remember, we are trading highly leveraged products, so they do move up and down. Right? So let's see where the cookie crumbles this morning. I redid the balance zones. So balance is 78 to 87. Double it to 69.05. Double it again to 69.41. Levels are working, and then double it again, of course. I'd put 8 of these on top of each other. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll start with 4. Hey, Christian, how you doing? So we're in pure distribution above VWAP, but inventory is still short until we tag Friday's close. So we're probably going to distribute. We're at 4 times cost basis here. So look for some distribution between 69.41 and sort of the highs here. We're going to see how short people are when the market opens, because when the market opens, all that opening inventory is going to come in, all those opening orders, and we'll see where this thing ends up marking off. Seems like we have the same thing every Sunday. Market opens, sells off, traps a bunch of shorts, rips back up. And, right now, we're only 40 points away from all-time highs. So every time this market sells off, people go and short the holy living crap out of it. But they don't quite understand that, yeah, these sell-offs are temporary. Right? Have you, we had interest rate decision, all that stuff, but have you seen any long-term macro that's changed? Right? I mean, if you just go in and look at some of the companies that are trading, right? Let's just go take a look. Apple, 261, right? Of course, there's going to be sellers there, right? Because they were sellers there before. You see? They'll sell there again, right? That's going to happen. That's not a big deal, right? All right. But we're still above the cost basis that we moved off from. Okay? Microsoft, we're back under 433 after a distribution, but we're back in cost basis. So markets had a nice big run up, and they're just letting go of a little steam. There's nothing really horribly wrong happening. Now, if you were long crypto at 120,000 and it went to 77, of course. But you can see we're just basically in balance. Yeah, I bought some crypto on the weekend. I think it was at 79 or 78. And then I bought a little bit this morning, or not this morning, kind of late last night. I bought a little bit at 76. But I'm just buying just tiny, tiny amounts. Like, you'd call them trace amounts. I post my levels in the room. Of course, silver and gold. Looks like they found some bids here, right? What else do we look at? Meta, Goldman, Google. I'll have to clean that chart up. I keep saying that, and I haven't done it yet. What else is there? Chevron. Things aren't really as bad as everybody seems. People love. It's funny. A lot of people who don't trade and don't invest love to say the market's going to crash. I find that quite comical. 5-minute chart. I'm going to post this in the room so you guys see that as we come up to, 69.50, that area here, right where our high is, 69.47, you're going to see there's some resistance. We're going to come up to an area where there is inventory above us. So be on the lookout for that. If you are long, be cautious. Make sure you sell into strength today. You don't want to be doing crazy things and losing all your money at the beginning of the month. Right? So a little profit taking doesn't hurt, right? Gold, silver. Increase margin. Of course they were going to increase margin at the end of the month. So you could do some short covering. Go on, guys. You guys didn't all just fall off the back of the turnip truck now, did you? You're not all that gullible, right? Okay. So, what's the trade plan for today? Right? I'm not short biased, but I am looking for a little bit of a down move, right? Because we've taken all that inventory underneath 69.30 and we've gone and sold it and we're distributing it now. Hey, AZS, good to see you. How you doing? Let's see where we open this puppy up here. You can see we're in distribution here, right, folks? So what we want to do is if we can't take out those highs, when the market opens, we're going to look for a move back down. And when we do, if you are shorting, you're going to be looking for bids in these areas here. Okay, that's if we do a look above and fail of 41, 38, 34, and 30 are going to be your downside targets, immediate targets. Right? If we take out this, just use the levels, trade accordingly, the next upper stop is all the way up past the close. Right? I don't think it'll be too bad, AZS. It's been fairly tradable, you know. It's been not too bad. Not too bad. And if we do break deep, right, what I'll be looking for 69.03 and 3/4, because that's where you can see that's where everyone from the overnight is trapped short underneath that. You can clearly see it because you see M and N period. They couldn't take out that stop. So that'll be a target. If we accept under the previous day's low and we take out these lower stops, right, we'll see if we can come down to 69.03 and 3/4. That'd be a target. But for now, we have some buyers. They're quietly creeping higher. Right? If you are shorting, make sure that you have found a seller before you get carried away. Right? So folks who are watching us, and if you want to learn how to trade, if you want to learn how to trade, if you want to learn how to invest, come join us at the Trading Syndicate. We'd love to see you. Right now, you can get entrance into the room and our AI for just $29. So trades off the open. See where the market opens. You know, if you are short off the open, your first target is 41. What a coincidence, right? Right where the low of X period is. And if it breaks that, then look down to the 38s and then 34s, right? If you're long, this poses a bit of a tougher problem because there's inventory all the way up here, but if you are long, your target would be the close of Friday. Okay. Remember, it's Monday. Don't go crazy. Find your levels, find your spots. Do business on your terms, okay? Thoughts on AMD? Do I have a chart for AMD? Hang on. Ah, yes. Whew. Sellers at 237.80. Um, those are your trapped longs. Your cost basis is right here. So right now the stock is stuck between trapped longs and the cost basis of the wholesale. I don't really see a trade right now. Are you long somewhere in AMD? Or are you short? You notice the low, 226, is right at the top of that cost basis. You know, if I went and I drew see this box here? This will kind of help you visualize. So, you see how we came down just to that, just about $1 shy. That's where your last cost basis is. Now, cost basis is just time and volume traded. That's all it is. So this is the acquisition. This is the distribution. You put it on sale right back to where we bought it, right? So you're long from 200, and is your time frame is, I'm not sure what your time frame is, but I'd use these levels. If I was long from 200, I'd be a seller at 260 for sure, because this is 4 times profit, right? So I'd be taking profits up here, and I'd be looking for a look below and fail of 154 if I wanted to get long. Or if I was using this box, I'd use a look below and fail of that 100. So your trade position is you're at the bottom of this cost basis. That's a great trade position. What you want to see today is if it gets above 238 bucks. And when it does, I'm going to show you where the sellers are going to be. There's going to be sellers here. Right? At 246 and change, there're going to be some sellers. So prepare yourself at those levels, at the top of these candles, there are going to be sellers because they got hit on the way down. Hey, Brian. So you got great trade position on that position. I would get nervous if it gets back underneath 225.57. Right? Because you got a nice long here. Right? Now, if it's for a trade or for an investment's a different story. You might be holding it for 10 years or 20 years. But it's for a trade. If I was long 200 off of this cost basis, I would have definitely been a seller at 260. 250 to 260, I would have been out. That's a beautiful trade. And you're still long, and it's dropped down on you. 237.80 that's a big level for you. So the high today is 236.35. See what happens when we open up, and we'll see what kind of customers come into the store. No problem, Lulu. Hey, Brian, welcome. Good morning. So, overnight point of control is all the way up here, right? It was here. It's moved up about 4 or 5 times. And all that means, you don't trade off of that. It's just giving us information like, oh, good distribution, right? It was down here, and before that it was down here, and before that it was down here. So as accumulation goes into distribution, it tells you, hey, sales are pretty good, right? We took all that cheap crap that we were looking to get rid of, and we're selling it. So let's see if the market stays. Now, I'm thinking just naturally as a short, right? If I'm selling this area here, my stop's going to be, just as a scalper, you've got a seller here at 44 and change. Right? So if you're short, and that seller moves lower, that's what you want. If the seller starts taking out that level, then you know, uh-oh, I might be in trouble. And if it takes out that level, there's your warning, right? So as the market opens up, if you don't see those sellers stepping in and committing, right, to lower price, why are you short if you're a scalper? See? If I'm short 43, 43 and 3/4, and it starts coming up over this level there, right, I start cutting my position automatically. This way, you don't lose a lot of money. You know, if you're in a scalp, you don't let that scalp turn into a bad investment. Do you know what I mean? So when we went down here, we put the market on sale, and look, those three candles, just like those candles, they tell you where the sellers are. And they tell you where the sellers stop selling, right? Trading distribution is difficult because it's unpredictable, right? That's why I like to wait for the market to go like this and then take the trade here, put my stop here. Because up here, it's a bit of a crapshoot, right? This way you trade less. The less you trade, the less errors you make. Because you're waiting for only those good trades where you can actually be assured that you're getting a good deal, right? Because you're a merchant. Remember that you're doing business. This is not gambling or any of that stuff, right? You can see, boom, did you see the seller here? Right? So now we know that the sellers move down from there to there. They kind of stop selling here, but is this tradable? Right? Is it tradable? Can you trade it? Probably not. Right? It's not a hot tub, my friend. It's not a hot tub. It's a market. So they'll put price on sale to attract buyers. If no buyers come in, what do you do if you've got a product and you have it on sale at 45? Nobody wants to buy it. Put it on sale at 44. Nobody wants to buy it. Well, then you're going to have to start marking down price. Right? It's a market. Don't ever forget that it's a market. Soon as you forget it's a market, you're in trouble. As soon as you forget it's a market, you start getting all sorts of grandiose ideas, right? And you take normal common sense business and you throw it out the window. Because some idiot on Twitter said that you should be watching something, right? Watch the offer. If the offer is moving lower, right, you don't want to be long, right? If the offer is moving higher, you don't want to be short. So if you are shorting, we need to break those bids down here, right? The bids are at 42 and 3/4. The sellers are at 46. The sellers stop selling down here and they lift price. But look at these candles. That candle, now this candle all have lower highs. So that means that there's potential competition. So when the market opens and you don't get a big burst of buying, we will come down and you'll be able to take a little short. But right now, See how it's just chopping around here? Right? I would not be trading that. Because you're going to go long, you're going to get stopped out. You're going to go short, you're going to get stopped out. You're going to go long, you're going to get stopped out. Right? Sound familiar? That's why you don't trade this. Right? You observe what's going on so you can make intelligent decisions later. Okay? So we are getting some bids this morning. Got some bids coming in. There's almost like a little balance here. You see? There's the bottom, there's the top. Might be a little choppy when the market opens. So make sure that if you are trading, that you go get your orders out, right? I bought the open and I sold 47 real quick because I saw those bids, right? And because we didn't take out 41. So I was long 44 and I sold 47. Okay? It's thin. This is just short covering coming in. These are people who are short covering as they come in. We're looking for the close of Friday. Okay? Now we're going to backfill, right? If we backfill, we're going to backfill down to this 46 level, right? Where we took that stop, that's where the shorts are trapped under here. That's the freshest meat short position. So make sure you sell into strength if you are going long. There's that 47. We're going to come back into this cost basis, find the bid, and you see the offer lifting. So if you were short 52, you should have been covering 46. That's how you trade smart. It's not OTFs, Alexander. It's just size speculators. That's all. Other time frame means usually investment. Right? Like I've been saying for months now, this market doesn't have investors in it. It has speculators in it, right? This is a speculative market. See if it holds 48.50, you're looking for higher, right? I would let the market open up and see where the sellers are. Right? So if you're long 47.48, sell into this. Right? If we take out the top of that candle, it's going to blow the stops and you're going to be looking for 60s. Okay? If we take out the overnight high, it's going to run a lot of stops, so be aware of that. If you're short and we get accepted over 69.67, be careful because it's going to gun for the N high from Friday at 73.5, the M high at 77, and all the way back to that Friday high. So be careful of that, right? You know where the bids are now, right? Big green candles, that's a big short cover, right? Those are the people who were short here. Some of the smart ones covered when we dipped down. The other ones didn't, so they came in at the bottom of that candle, and they pushed that candle all the way from 49 to 59. 10 points in 1 minute. Big ranges, right? Bigger the candle, the bigger the order that's hitting that candle at the time. Okay? So right off the open, a lot of people will come in and start to cover, right? Because they just they're in pain, right? They'll just come and start covering. That's why you get those big green candles. Then now we're going to backfill a little bit. When we backfill, you're going to see that the market bids in certain areas. Look, point of control is there, right? So you have traders who are going long based on where the shorts are. I'm long 55 and 3/4 on 6. I'm out pretty much at 58 and a quarter. Quick scalp, right? Because I just saw the bid, right? Now the trades that I'm taking are not A-plus trades, and they're based on my knowledge of what I'm talking to you guys about. So I'm trading alongside with what I'm saying. But I know that there's sellers at 59. So when I bought those 55s, very quick to get out for a couple of points. Right? The target is the close. They're front running the close right now. Right? If they take out the top of that candle, it'll run some stops, and we should be able to tag the close. There we go. We're getting close. But obviously, boom, there you go. What did I say? Right? Simple. Now we're going to backfill, 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 backfill. Gently sell it down. Right? As soon as they find the bid, right? If we get accepted above the close of Friday, it'll gun for 63/4. Right? It's going to be a little choppy here. Obviously, there's a lot more short than we thought. There's that 63/4. Right? The levels are working, the stops are working to the tick. They're going to sell into this a little bit gently until they find the bid. Right? Just lower price, find the buyers. As soon as we find the buyers, we walk away from them. There you go. Boom. There's the point of control from Friday. Right? Like clockwork. Right? So what told me not to get short? I saw this. These bids down here where I had these levels drawn out. There's the overnight high. How many people are you using the overnight high as a stop? Big traders, big traders. They will. Right? So from the overnight high, if we hold the overnight high, we will rotate up. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. And this is the problem when you're shorting a market that's at all-time highs. You got to remember, it's a fresh month. Everybody got the credit card paid off, right? Daddy paid off the credit card. Exactly, Raj. So now you get a fresh slate of paper, right? Let's go look at the coin of bitterness. It's up 2%. Right? Coin of bitterness, 78,000. I'm looking for sellers at 78,626. We're at 78,566. Right? Yeah, if offers are lifting, shorting is not a good option. Right? If offers are lifting, that means people are raising price. Why? Because they see buyers. Right? Exactly. A lot of items after Friday are on sale. Get out that American Express black card, Alexander. Right? Oh, there we go. Right? Stats work. That's a cool stat, Ellie. Good, good, good. Oh. See if we hold that overnight high. We're distributing, right? All those shorts, do you see the point of control moved up here? That's all short covering. So if we get back underneath the overnight high and you want to take a short, you can, but where are you going to put your stop? Put your stop there. Right? So if you're short 65, 66, and make sure you got your bids in at 59.60, right? But if we get back up over the overnight high, then you got to be careful, right? If you know where the buying is, right? Then you know where to cover, right? Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, you don't want to short a market when the offers are lifting. It's a fool's game, right? Wait till they start offering and lowering price. When they start offering and lowering price, then you can be short. But if they don't lower price, like you're finding bids, be careful. Just manage your positions. Manage your risk. Manage your risk, my friends. Right? If the price action is not to your liking and you don't know how to trade it, right? Don't be afraid to just sit back and watch. It's the smartest decision you will make. If you find yourself taking a few trades and you're not doing well, just stop. Good stuff, Ali. Thank you. See how it's going back and forth over that overnight close? I mean, over the overnight? That's when you can get in real trouble. I'm long 67 and I'm selling 69.70 and I'm flat. Took me a while to get that because I was like short, short, short. No, it's not working. No, 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 I wasn't. I keep seeing those bids at 64, so when it popped big, that's when I grabbed it. But quick in and out. Quick in and out, right? So what I do to train myself is I only take trades at the edges. Doing that a bunch of times, nice work, Moran, nice work. Doing that a bunch of times is going to help you get your speed going. What did I say? 73 and a quarter? I think it's 73 and a half. Apologies. It's half, yeah. And then up here it's 77. That's where the upper stops are, right? Every time the market, when you have a big liquidation, what happens is the shorts come in and cover, and then the wholesale longs build a position. And then we come in, right? But what happens is the dumb shorts short here, add here, add here. By the time they figure out that there's no supply, the market's done this, and that's why you get those big, massive candles. That's why right now, if you go on CNBC, they'll be like, "Oh, market's in turmoil," right? And every poor bastard is shorting the thing off the open, right? And if you were shorting the open, right, down at 43 to 45, now you're offside 20 points because you don't understand how inventory works and you don't understand the mechanics of the market, right? And you don't understand that the market is not structured to go down, right? Believe it or not, this market is structured. Otherwise, they wouldn't get people buying 1 billion shares of Apple if they thought it was going to go down, right? Smart money doesn't get it wrong, right? Always remember that. But it was bid in the overnight all day long when supply. Yeah, it was bid. Everybody was thinking we were going to open on a gap down, and they shorted the holy living crap out of it, right? Bitcoin, what happened was over the weekend, Bitcoin was the only thing it got hit hard, right? Because of whatever, Bitwise, Schmidtwise, whatever the hell happened, Bitcoin got hit like a train, right? Bitcoin's a highly leveraged product where people are trading with 1,000 times leverage, right? They're trading with crazy leverage, so you get massive, massive liquidations, right? So you got a massive liquidation in Bitcoin, right? Which is like a snowball rolling down the hill. It gathers momentum, right? Sunday night is the only thing that opens, right? Sunday night, the only market that was open on Sunday are the ES futures and these futures markets. So boom, they get hit and people liquidate because they go to what they can sell, right? Yeah, silver, of course, they raise margins on Friday, which was the last trading day of the month, so the firms wouldn't be too offside. Do you guys know what an SRO is? Anybody here know what an SRO is? Sam, Ray, Oscar, SRO? You guys know what that is? It's a self-regulating organization, and that's what FINRA, all these people, that's all self-regulating amongst the member firms, which means they police themselves. So Goldman polices JP Morgan, JP Morgan polices Goldman, right? So when they're in trouble, they just raise margin rates. Everybody gets liquidated, and then you make your month end without being offside 300-400 million bucks, right? It's not a conspiracy theory. It's how business works. If you want to be in this business, you should understand just the basics about this business, right? So now they reset their cost basis. They bought everything on the cheap. Let's go sell it. Beautiful, right? Beautiful. That's how business works. If you want to do business, you should learn the business. You don't need to know everything, but just some common sense stuff. Like if you're trading silver, don't be out on the raw and ragged edge with other people's money on borrowed money, right? Get in, get out, get paid, take your money, and don't be greedy, right? Pigs get slaughtered, right? And if you're a greedy pig at the wrong time in this business, ooh boy, you're going to get in trouble. You're going to get spanked. And that happens over and over and over again because people don't learn. They go from greed to fear, fear to greed, greed to fear. But they never think about the business. Can you please explain this? Well, brokerage firms police themselves, right? There's the SEC, but they're feckless. The brokerage firms have something called FINRA, and they police themselves. It's a self-regulatory organization, right? So when they're in trouble, they protect each other. Very simple. They did the exact same thing with Hunt Brothers, right? They raised margin on the Hunt Brothers and caused them to go bust. History repeats itself, right? So was it Silver Thursday they call it? So okay, we're going to sell down here. Let's go find the bid, ladies and gentlemen, right? If you are short off of that 77, do some covering in this area. By the time we get to 70 to 66, there should be some bids here. Let's watch the backfill and see where it bids. Nice call, Moran. Yeah, $270 million in liquidated Bitcoin. Beautiful, right? Somebody got some cheap product. Look at Bitcoin. I mean, I bought a little Bitcoin at 78 and a half, I think on the weekend, and then I bought a little bit more at 76, right? But I don't trade Bitcoin. I just buy it and I stick it away, and one of these days you know, the 0 and 1 mafia hopefully does something nice with it. Right? Let's see if we take out that 77, Moran. If we do, 69.83 is on deck. Right? Right? If you were short 76, 75, you should have been covering 72, 71. Exactly. Right? I buy my Bitcoin for cash. I don't use leverage. Right? And it's not like I went and bought like, 20 coins or something like that. I buy a little bit. Buy a little bit and put it away. Right? That's my strategy on Bitcoin is when it just gets hammered, I wait for a look below and fail and I buy a little bit. Let's see if we can stay above 77. Watch the offer. If enough people are short under 76, 75, this is going to happen. Boom. Would I buy it now again? No, I'll wait. I'll sit and wait. I'm good for now. My next buy in Bitcoin is going to be under 70,000. And if you look at Bitcoin, we came right back into that cost basis from April, May of last year, and we broke it, kind of spanked it, flushed everybody out down to 75,734, and then popped it back up. Let's see, it's still early in the week, right? Woo, somebody's short. We went through 69.83 like a hot knife through butter. Looking for Friday's high. I keep saying yesterday. Soft landing into the Friday high, right? Hey, Howard. Everybody is short, my friend. Everybody, his dog, his cat. What's that thing that they've got now? Baby horses. They got like people buy miniature horses. I see those on. Everybody's short. Dogs, cats, horses, people, right? Yeah, I don't understand MSTR. I do have I have a fascination with MSTR, right? Because I think Michael Saylor is just like kind of a freaky dude, right? Let's see if he can get it back above 147. I don't like the stock. I don't like the way the stock trades, right? Bitcoin and these companies that hold Bitcoin, they're two different things, right? They're two different things, right? So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Oh, see that big green candle? That's what happens. Everybody shorts here. Everybody shorts here. Then they short here, they add here, then they go, "Uh-oh, we better cover." And by the time they go to cover, everyone who's long just raises the price. You know, ever played with a cat where you keep lifting the string and the cat jumps? It's the same thing with short sellers. There's no difference. It's the same thing, right? And they get trapped the same way because they don't look for a seller. Oh, it's got to go down, right? It has to do this. It has to do that. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have to do anything, right? Now, we got three red candles. Oh, let's see. As we get down to 69.78, that's where you're going to be looking for bids. Looking for bids at 69.78, if we can get down there. Hey Dave, what's going on? How you doing? A little choppy here. I don't see a clear trade just yet. Well, there's a lot of people who aren't in their right mind, Herbie. Remember that. There's a lot of people who are like what I call tire biters, right? They chase price, right? So you get those people, you get short covering, you get tire biters, right? And you show me a decent setup, I'll go long for a couple of points, but I'm not building a house on it. You know what I mean? Nice work. Anne Marie, how are you? How was your weekend? Well, tire biters, right? Yeah, I think I'll avoid that, Michael. Okay, looking for bids at 78, 77, where we took that stop earlier. If you're short, this is where you want to do a little, if you're short 80, 81, pay yourself, right? We should drop down a little bit. There we go. Next bid should be right here around 73, 72. If we can get down there, that's the area you're looking for. There's nothing wrong with selling short. There's nothing wrong with short selling. Just make sure that you find somebody who's going to help you with that short sale, right? You need help because your two or three E-mini contracts aren't going to push the market down. You need to see that sellers are lowering price, right? And when sellers are lowering price, that's when you can short. But this little area here is probably where you want to put at least a bid there to see if you can cover, right? Take advantage of the sale and if you're short, right? See how we found the bid right at 77? Right? I told you guys that there would be bids here. Why? Because people who were using that as a stop, they came in and started to buy. The wholesalers lifted price above it. So if you were short at 82, 81, why don't you cover some at 77 and pay yourself? If we accept underneath 77, you're looking for 72, right? Now we're going to start backfilling, right? Right? There we go. There we go. If you're short, that's good. That's good. Nothing wrong with that. Looking for bids at 72, right? And if we break 72, you'll be looking for bids at 68, right? Nice and simple. Beautiful, right? Wait for the seller, my friends, right? Wait for the seller and make sure that you sell next to the seller. It's like you're swimming next to the shark. When you swim next to the shark, you got to make sure that that shark doesn't turn on you, right? If we take out the bottom of this candle, we should come down to 68, right? Make sure when you're short that you have your buy orders in, right? I'm short 72. I'm covering 70, right? I'll take the 70s. I'll get paid. Thank you. Goodbye. Right? 72 to 70 on 4 contracts, right? As we come down to that overnight high, there's going to be some buying, right? Get paid, my friends. Get paid, right? You don't have to make 30 points on each trade, right? You can make 2 to 3 points on 3 to 5 contracts, right? And pay yourself, right? And then do that once a day, then build it up to twice a day, right? Pretty soon you're making 2, 3, 4, 5 grand a day, and you're not killing yourself, right? Come to our trading room. We will teach you how to do this with common sense. No double talk, no indicators, schmindicators. You won't hear me talking about all the other nonsense, like what do they call them? Um, Sweeping the broom and all that bullshit. You won't you won't find me talking about all of that stuff. I'll tell you where to buy, where to sell, where to short, where to cover. I'll tell you why you should be doing the trade so you understand the business reasons for the trade. If you don't understand the business reason why you're doing business, think about that. If you can't explain why you're taking a trade, what business do you have taking the trade? You're just guessing. Yeah, it's a thin book. The book thinned out pretty quick, actually, just now. I saw it go from like a couple of hundred contracts to 20s and 10s. Just be careful, right? The order book's thin. That means there's a lot of traders that are kind of getting a little antsy, right? So make sure you pay yourself. If you're long, sell into strength. If you're short, cover into weakness, okay? Very simple, right? Let's see where the sellers are now. Good distribution, eh? We took all of that cheap product from the overnight, puked it up here over 70, used the shorts, right? You know, kind of like when you get your buddy to go on his hands and knees and then you stand on his back to jump the fence. That's what we did with the shorts, right? We put them to work, give us some bids, right? Distribute our position on the backs of the trap shorts. Good stuff, Dave. Now save that money, brother. Take that money and put that away. Hmm. Right back up. So when a market liquidates, it does two things. It takes all these trapped longs and it pukes them out here. Size traders buy that, but what happens is people who short down here, they go to cover, right? See the big green candle? Looking for 69.83, folks. 69.83. We came close. There you go. Nice work, AZS. Beautiful. There's 83. Watch out if we take that A high, ladies and gentlemen. Is 2 to 4 p.m. enough time? Sorry, I don't understand measured move. What's your question, sir? Is it enough time to make some money? That depends if your trade set up. I hope I'm getting this right. Sometimes, you only have a certain amount of time to trade, but the trade's got to be there, right? The trade has to be there. Otherwise, ugh, you're forcing it. You don't want to be forcing trades. It's the worst thing. Yeah, I have terms and conditions under which I will take a trade. If those terms and conditions are not met, you ain't getting my money, right? You are not getting my money. There's just no way that I'm going to commit money to some crazy business idea. And we're gunning for Friday high. If you are long, there's going to be some sellers up there. So just so you know, watch your whiskers. Okay? Right? See how they're front running the Friday high? They're selling into it a little bit before. One tick. See? We got to take those sell orders. Boom. There's Friday high. Now, what happens to our friendly neighborhood shorts if we accept that was a buy-in, right? Somebody got forced. That's forced buying. Look at this green. Look at these candles. The lows. Every low is higher. That means that the bid is following the offer up. Are there trades from 2 to 4 p.m.? Indeed, there are. Of course, there's trades. What kind of trading do you do, right? If you want, you can reach out, measured move, and you can reach out to me, and I'll help you put a setup together. I do have halfway marked in each balance zone, Herbie, because the balance zones today are bigger, right? So 8 times cost basis today is 70.13, which means this is 8 times profit zone that we're in, right? This is the top of 8 times profit. So if you're looking for a short, you're looking for a look above and fail of 13, right? Or a look above and fail of the previous day high. But I'm seeing bids here because I'm seeing the offer move higher. See, the red line's moving higher. As the red line moves higher, I don't want to short that, right? So let's see where the next set of structural stops are. It's all the way up here where that old point of control is. There's a stop up here. Fresh month, fresh money, right? And after that bloodbath we had in these markets, you're going to see that these markets are not created for massive selling, right? Positions are, look at that, AMD. There you go. Where's my AMD buddy? Right? We ripped right through there. Beautiful. right? You're long at 200, it's trading 248. Remember, there's going to be sellers at 260 as well. Crabapple over 261.67. You're going to be looking at resistance at around 266. Go look at Micro Squish. It's pulling up the rear, right? Where's Leather Jacket Guy? Kind of flat. Muscosaurus 422, right? MSTR 140. How's Tommy Lee doing? He's hanging in there at 23. Man, these stocks are a mess. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. Oh, Netflix. I keep forgetting about Netflix. I don't know. I'm kind of losing. I don't know. Netflix, they charge you a lot of money every month, and they're putting movies on there that are like 20, 30 years old. I don't know. I'm not impressed. If we hold Friday high, just use the levels. So there'll be 69.95. We do have a seller here. Yeah, I don't know. The quality's not that great for the amount of money that you pay. And it seems like they're always increasing price. Now let's see. Can we get back underneath the previous day high? There's a seller. How desperate are they? There's some bids at 50, at 91. Right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are only 30 points away from the all-time high. Right. After everybody was looking for this thing to fall apart like a cheap suit. Right. You have to understand that this market is built on companies where the floats of those companies are restricted. Right. So out of 15 billion shares of Apple, you'll be very surprised to see more than 100 million shares trade on a daily basis. They just don't. Right? So it'll take a cataclysmic event, right, that causes a material change in the earnings of these companies. And I don't think anything's happened since Friday to cause that change. So there's nothing wrong with shorting. But remember, when you're a short seller and you're a retail short seller, or any short seller for that matter, if you don't understand the dynamics of how shorting works, don't do it. The other thing is, if you do it, do it on a small time frame. Hit and run shorts. Get in, get out. Get in, get out. And as soon as your seller is gone, and what do I mean by your seller? Do you guys understand what I'm talking about? See, there you had a seller, right? You had a seller for 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes. But then after 4.5 minutes, the seller saw buyers and they started to raise price, right? So you lose your backup. So your backup is here. So say you get into a fight, this is your backup. Your backup is now talking to a pretty girl, and you're trapped short under here. As soon as it got over that level or that level, you should have covered, right? Everyone goes to cover at the same time. The people who are long, they yank the price up, right? And they make you chase, right? This is always what happens, right? When I was a bouncer, I'd see it all the time. Some guy gets into a fight or an argument with a dude, and his buddy is like a tough guy, right? And he's like, oh, my buddy will back me up, right? And he's there beaking off, beaking off. All of a sudden, his buddy sees a pretty girl, goes, talks to him. The guy looks around, uh-oh, boom! If I had a nickel for every time I saw that, I'd never have to work again, right? Your liquidators are your backup when you're short, right? If you lose your liquidator, get the hell out because you are going to get your ass kicked, right? As soon as you see that offer lift over a danger zone. So had I been shorting 92, right, 93.5 would have been my danger zone. And maybe my hard stop would have been 95. But if I was short at 91, 92, and I saw it creep over here, I'd start cutting contracts, right? Looking for 7,003 3/4. That's one of my larger levels. Let's see if we go tickle that. There should be a sell order at 7,000. Let's see. Well, maybe not. There you have it. Hey, that's it. 2 trades? I'll take 2 trades. Nothing wrong with that. Now, I told you guys this morning that if this market gets back in Friday's range, be careful on the short side. Right? The problem with shorting is short sellers always get high on their own supply. They think there's millions of contracts to be sold. Right? Where they get these ideas from, God knows. Right? And then when there is no selling, they keep shorting and adding to it. Bad risk management, right? You got 2 winning trades, Alex AZS. That's good, brother. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. So, folks, once again, right, a little advertising for our room. We are running specials now. If you want to learn how to do this, if you're a regular person and you're tired of getting losing money, if you're tired of blowing up accounts, right, if you're tired of just the anxiety that comes from being in this business when you don't know what you're doing, come and join us at the Trading Syndicate. It's the best money you'll ever spend. You guys spend more than that at Starbucks. Skip Starbucks for a day, join our room, and I promise you will learn more in a month with me than you will 10 years anywhere else. That is guaranteed. And if you don't, it means you're not listening. Right? We don't use any, unnecessary language. Everything is common sense. So there's no, oh, you need this indicator or you need this. I'll teach you how to trade with a chart, a simple 1 minute candle chart. Right? I'll teach you good habits, good business habits. So you know when not to do business, you know when to do business. Thanks, Anne Marie. You know, we'll teach you the way. Right? All in simple, plain, easy to understand English. Or French. I'm still working on Mandarin, Portuguese, and Spanish, but I can teach in English and French for now. Nice work, Dougie. Beautiful. I don't know if you're on stream. Oh, that's good to see. One of my guys made a couple of 100 points shorting gold last night. Good for him. Gotta love it. Love it when a plan comes together. It's hard to get in, right, Rebel? Days like this, don't worry. But here's the thing, right? Okay, we've only been open for what? 50 minutes, right? So give it some time, right? It'll find a place where the sellers step in. It'll start going back and forth, and then that way you can get in, right? That's the nice thing about these markets. If the price action, if the type of business doesn't suit you at the time, then just sit back and wait for when your business setup presents itself, right? That's the only one thing that we have. We have the power, right? We have the power to, you know, trade when our business deems it necessary. We're creeping up on that 7-3 stop. Boom, there it is. See, it seems, do you guys notice the same pattern? Where are my upside down bunt cake pattern traders, right? You get the move up, get the move up, you get the move up. I don't know what you guys call that. Upside down hanging monkey pattern, I don't know, but the business is the same. You guys don't call it accumulation. You guys have all sorts of weird chart pattern names. Right? It's the inverted upside down flying nun, right? That one, yes. I can't memorize all the patterns. I tried. It's just like, how do I execute and memorize all this stuff? I can't. So I was like, oh, God. It took me a while. And I got nothing against candle patterns, right? But you should understand the business that creates the pattern. It will help you. It will really help you. All right, so we hit 7,004, 7,005. Okay. Oh, there you go, Ginja. Nice chart. Well done. All right, just in that big balance zone. What do the white numbers mean on the right? Here, these are just the volume at every single price increment, or what we call tick. Right. So basically, what this is a half-hour candle chart. It's a bit of a fancy one because we open up the candle and it shows all of the volume at every price increment inside the candle. Right? They call them market profile or TPO charts. Right? They're just another way of looking at inventory. That's really all it is. A little bit more distribution here. Now, when it sells off, if you spend some time watching these charts without trading, you'll be able to make some pretty cool observations. Right? You'll be looking, so if you were shorting here, you'd be looking for bids here, and if the market didn't get down there, you'd cover. Right? Okay. I'm quiet because there's nothing to do here. Just chill. Just relax. When are they going to stop shorting? Never. See you, Dave. Get some rest, brother. What time is it there? Must be like 3 in the morning or something for you. Oh. If they haven't learned by now, Raj, they never will. The good thing is the more people who short the market, the more upside moves we get, and which is really helpful for us. Now let's see if we get, you know, you can see that the sellers are stepping in again, right? So if you are short, right? If you are shorting, right? Watch that. Watch the sellers, right? You're going to look for bids here just under 69.98. So if you're short 7,002, 3, go put in a buy order at 69.98 and see if that buy order gets hit. See? There you go. You should have gotten hit at 98. If you didn't, then you know there's no supply. See what I tell you? 69.98. How did I know to look there? Because I was looking at the bottom of these two candles and I thought, oh, they'll front run the bottom of those candles. See this candle here and this candle? That's why I would have been. And if you had a 98 buy order and if you were short 7,001, 7,002, if that 98 buy order didn't get filled, you move your bid up. Right? Pretty simple. Right? Now that you're getting filled, the next place you're going to look is down here at 95 and 3/4. It's very, very simple. Yeah, those kind of places, measured move, those are for those kind of trading rooms, and I don't mean to be mean, they're for suckers, right? I mean, if you believe somebody got kidnapped and they say they run the algo for the whole market and all that stuff, you know that's BS, right? I mean, come on. You didn't just fall off the turnip truck, right? Right? I got to give people a little bit more credit. There you go, Alex. Well, reach out and DM me if you have any issues at all. I'm always happy to teach. Beautifully done, Dougie. Well done. Right? And there's nothing wrong with shorting for a couple of points on 5 or 6 contracts, right? Nothing wrong at all. Now we're going to get a little liquidation. Look for buyers at the overnight, at the previous day high, Friday's high. Because we ran all the stops. We went and sold a whole bunch of contracts up here. So when we get back down to this 91 level, there should be some bids here. If there are no bids, we'll accept under 91 and we'll come down to 69.86. And that, my friends, is how you trade tactically. And this is how you stay out of trouble. You take only trades that fit your terms and conditions, right? Right. When your terms and conditions are met, then you execute, right? So there's a business reason for the trade. The business reason was the price was on sale, right? When does the trade not work? If you were short here, if the market takes out this level, the trade stops working, so you get out, right? Where do you put your buy orders? Where the shorts are trapped. I will teach you all of this in plain, simple English, no gibberish, right? No algos, right? None of that stuff. Very simple, uncomplicated business. So come to the tradingsyndicate.org. We'll be happy to teach you how to do this. make a living, pay your bills, and just learn the business properly so you can make good, intelligent business decisions. And that's what we want to do. Okay. Alrighty, folks. Obvious short position is here. Right. These market profile charts help with that as well. They'll tell you where the shorts are trapped. Look to see if we backfill this at all. Right. Those are single prints to the upside. You need at least 2 periods, and then you'll get single prints. Thanks very much, everyone. Have a wonderful day. We will see you tomorrow morning, bright and early. 7:30 a.m. UK time, 2:30 in the morning for my insomniacs. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate you guys. Be safe out there. Don't take candy from strange market makers. Much love. We'll see you in the morning. Bye for now.